Hello, YouTube. It has been some time since Alien Anatomy has been here. I mean, I've still been stuck on Earth all this time, but I did take a bit of a hiatus. Um, yeah, basically, my previous channel was just stolen, hacked, I don't know. Something happened. I was away. I did not have any phone or electronic device at all. It was on the anniversary of a very painful day for me, and I was away visiting a gravestone. And didn't even know until the following day that everything was gone. Everything. So yeah, I tried to get that channel back. I contacted YouTube and I contacted Google and I went through all that and was given this not very helpful email about how it's not really any of their concern if something got hacked or something happened. They don't care. So, after all that, I really didn't feel like starting over from scratch again, to be honest. I really didn't. And I wasn't going to do YouTube anymore. I wasn't going to bother with it. But since no one else seems to be coming up with the same thoughts and the same conclusions as I have in the past and as I am now, I had to. I tried at first to, give some of these thoughts to other content creators and say, hey, this is what I think is going on. You want to run with this? You can totally run with this. You can totally take it. I don't care. You don't even have to say it came from me. But, no. So, since I want those thoughts out there, I want to present those options, I guess I just have to do it. I just have to suck it up and start all over. So, I've taken what videos I could find that I still had on my hard drive, my little red Toshiba external hard drive, and I've been watching an awful lot of myself lately. An awful lot of me. And I'm taking what I think are still relevant, and the more recent videos, and that sort of thing, and I'm just gonna repost them all. I'm just going to publish them all to this channel. And I'm going to try to keep them in order. At least ones that are related to one another and that mention one another and things like that. At least I can more or less tell what order they go in. There are some that may end up out of order. They don't have correct dates on them because I've opened them all up and watched them and saved them to this computer and done all kinds of stuff. So now, yeah, they're not time-stamped anymore. I do have a couple from as far back as 2006 that I'm just leaving them on the hard drive for now. I don't see any need to post those to this channel. I'm glad I still have those so that I can look back at those. But, I mean, that was 2006 through, 2010. I mostly posted, guides and how to do this, where to find that sort of things. Some silly, stupid things that we all used to do in World of Warcraft. Don't do this. How not to die. Yeah. And some parodies. Which now, because of, the new policies and YouTube stuff, I don't even think I could repost the parodies, not without first getting special permissions and all that. So I'm just, all that stuff I'm holding on to for myself. Yeah, there may be a couple little things in there that I don't know, maybe someday I'll just have a blast from the past kind of day and be like, hey, here these are in case you want to see them. But for now, I'm just going to post the videos that are relevant, and yeah, those of you who actually remembered me and who messaged me and who encouraged me to try to, you know, get on Patreon and things like that. I still don't have that going. I'm sorry. I'm thinking about it. I just haven't been motivated, I guess. You know I have ADD. That's no excuse for procrastinating, but you know I get distracted and things happen and I don't know. But I do appreciate those of you who remembered me and who messaged me. And if you find me, here I am. I'm still Alien Anatomy. And yeah, any help I could get, because YouTube is no longer the way to make a living. So I probably will at some point make a Patreon. And I doubt I will ever climb the ranks again. As it is, I didn't make it that far to begin with, did I? I think I had, before all this happened, I had what? 21,000, maybe? In the grand scheme of things, it's not a lot. So, I was never... I mean, it didn't hurt me as much as it would have hurt some people today. And, hey, maybe that's why Google was no help to me, right? I wasn't important enough. You didn't have enough stuff. You didn't have enough followers. Fine. But to those of you who actually care, I'm here again. So yeah, all the likes and subs and shares and whatnot I can get would be great. Get me going again. In the meantime, since it's been a while, and if you've never seen any of my content before at all, and I'm just plain new to you, well, I'm uploading a bunch of stuff at once. I'm just going to put what I have that I think is still relevant and hasn't yet been disproven or whatever. I'm just going to put the videos that I have on here. And you might notice, yeah, everything is still pretty, as far as video and stuff goes, video and sound, everything is still pretty crummy quality. At one point, I was doing better. I had the camera and the mic and all that, but I still have it. It's just I can't get it working again. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. I'll figure that out too. I just wanted to get up and running again and to post those videos before they become obsolete. There's, I don't know, like 10 or so maybe that I found. So I'll post those, and while I'm here, I do have a thought on the current situation of things. I don't think we're going to kill Sylvanas. I've been saying that for a while, and I don't know how many of the videos I'm about to post, how many of my past videos I said that in. I've been watching so many of them off of my drive, my hard drive, that it's all blurring together, so at this point I can't even remember which ones I'm posting and which ones I'm not. So, yeah. In the event that I haven't said it in one of those that I'm about to post, I don't think we're going to kill her. I am a little worried at this point that she is going to die before I didn't think she was going to die. I didn't think Blizzard was going to end her. But now that the Torgast Raid has been data mined and we're seeing some things, I think she might pull something similar to the whole Ice Crown thing. I don't think she's going to throw herself off at the top of anything, but she knows more about the Shadowlands than what she's letting on. And I think she's not going to come out of this alive. I think she's going to sacrifice herself. It's not a redemption. It's still not a redemption, and I know I've said in pretty much every video I've ever done, so definitely in at least like half of the ones I'm about to repost, I have said she doesn't need a redemption. So, I've been watching the cinematics, and I'll probably go deeper into at least one or two of those at some point. Like I said, I'm just trying to get up and running again right now. But I think she's going to sacrifice herself for Anduin, which a lot of people are probably thinking, and they're thinking that that'll be a redemption. It's not going to be a redemption. I think what she's going to do is she's going to come between Anduin and some other threat, maybe us, at the end of Torghast, maybe the jailer. I would like to think that Sylvanas did not actually use domination magic on Anduin. I think they made a deal. Depending on how that conversation went, because we did not see the end of it. I mean, he just told her she had a choice and we saw her hesitate, but come on. Did she really look like she was going to do it? It looked more to me like he had gotten through to her. And so what I think happened that we didn't get to see is that she basically threw the sword down and freed him because she couldn't do it. And instead of walking away, instead of escaping, instead of going back to Jaina and Thrall and the rest of them, Anduin stuck around, had a conversation that we didn't get to see, but that was probably deep and meaningful for both of them. And I think they came to an agreement in which Anduin is playing a part. And I think this is going to be important too, because that would mean that he is making the choices here. He's willingly doing what he's doing. He's not being dominated, which may be what Blizzard was trying to show us. A lot of people have said that he snapped out of it for a moment from the shock of stabbing the Archon. I don't think so. I think there's more to it. I think Blizzard's trying to show us that he's there willingly, and he's just sort of basically handing the controls over. So, yeah, he's not doing those things per se, but he's not stopping them either. He's just letting it happen. It's called disassociating. Probably something Sylvanas suggested. If they came to a deal, she probably explained to him how this whole thing is going to work, how this domination stuff works, and that all he had to do, he didn't have to do anything. All he had to do was basically disassociate, just give in, let go of his willpower long enough to be remote controlled by the jailer, if you will. And maybe some part of him was unable to disassociate for a moment there and had to stop and think about what he was allowing to be done with his body and whether he wanted to continue the facade. And I'm sure to the jailer it may seem very much like he's successfully dominating Anduin. Or maybe the jailer knows. Maybe the jailer knows that Sylvanas and Anduin have worked this deal out and he just doesn't care. As long as he gets what he wants out of it, he doesn't care. Either way, I think they have an understanding of some sort. And I think Anduin is going to show up during the raid at some point, probably towards the end, in an effort to protect Sylvanas, in an effort to maybe explain to us what is going on. But we're not going to listen. We have this habit of kill first, ask questions later. So maybe we just assume he's been corrupted. Maybe we attack Anduin. I don't know. But I think Anduin is going to be in harm's way. And Sylvanas is going to shield him. And end up sacrificing herself. She's going to use the last bit of her health after fighting us and keeping us away from the jailer and letting the jailer escape. She's going to use the last bit of her health to shield Anduin from something. And then, when it's all said and done, Anduin will explain everything to us. And we'll feel guilty. Because, we can't exactly go and undo it. Not this time. So what does that mean for Sylvanas? Because I have said, if Blizzard just kills her, we're not going to be happy about it. I think most of us don't want to see it go down that way. And what does that mean for her storyline? Well, she's more or less a fractured soul, right? She was killed by Frostmourne. So, some of her soul went back into her body. Where'd the rest of it go? Ardenweald? Maybe now this part of her soul rejoins that other half in Ardenweald. What happens in Ardenweald? Well, souls just kind of incubate and then emerge either, I guess, as a denizen in Ardenweald or as a wild god, as a Loa, as something, or maybe she was meant for Bastion. Maybe because of the manner in which Sylvanas originally died. We saw that Uther still went to Bastion. At least that half of his soul went to Bastion when he was killed by Frostmourne. So, maybe the other half of Sylvanas' soul is there somewhere. maybe she becomes something else. Maybe she does become a Valkyrie. I mean, I'm not sure how that pact she made with the Valkyrie is going to play into this, but I think it will. Because one of them took her place in the mall the first time, so. And they're dying for her throughout Cataclysm and onward, but they're obviously returning to the mall. Because they're going to be in the Torgast Raid too, and they're going to play a role in this. They're the 9. So, yeah, I think she might die, but I think she's going to become something else. I don't think her dying is going to be the end of it. Now, I don't know that she's gonna be able to still be part of the storyline in the future. I mean, she may just become something significant, at least to the realm of death, and stay in the Shadowlands, and that may be her, being put on the shelf for a while, being put away. But I just don't know that Blizzard's quite ready to do that yet either. Because I feel like if she just becomes some higher being of death or of the Shadowlands or whatever, she's more or less stuck there. Like, that's where she is. That's it. So, what if she just becomes herself? What if she becomes Sylvanas, Windrunner, Ranger General, everything that she was before she died? And I don't want to call it a resurrection, because I would like to see her maintain her powers. At least her Banshee powers. I don't know about this. Like, I don't know if she is currently using borrowed Maw power, or if this is something she has acquired on her own, has learned from other denizens of death. I would like to think that she's using a power she acquired all on her own, because I'm not seeing this sort of power from the jailer. He seems to be using an entirely different source of magic. So, she could still be borrowing this power from someone else. Hell yeah, Alun. I've just watched some of my past videos, so I know what I was thinking before. And now I'm thinking, yeah, some of those ones that were still relevant are still possible. So, yeah. She could be borrowing a power from some other source, some higher being. Or it could be her own power. It could be that she has, in her experiences and in her knowledge and everything that she's been through, it could be that she's evolved, and that once she gets the rest of her soul back, she becomes something else. I'm having a moment here where I'm thinking back to, one of the few anime I have watched. I did like. I did not watch Brotherhood. I watched the original Fullmetal Alchemist. And the ending of that, in which they're talking about equivalent exchange all through the whole thing, and they're talking about, in the end, their experiences. They traded in their experiences, their suffering, their everything they had been through. That's what they used as leverage. So it makes you think, especially in the context of the Shadowlands, where we're seeing this machine, this arbiter, just arbitrarily judging souls and sending them wherever based on a criteria. But you can't expect a construct to be able to weigh those experiences, what those experiences mean, what that soul has actually been through. And I'm thinking, even in real life, we like to think that it means something, that we go through those experiences, that we grieve for a reason. We would like to think that when we overcome suffering, when we make choices that lead to the bettering of ourselves through that suffering, instead of just giving in to it, that it gives us some sort of value that is going to mean something when it comes time to be judged. I don't know if it applies value to our souls, if it applies value to all of our experiences as a whole, like how that works in the end. Obviously, no one does. But I would like to think that it means something. Not just the suffering we went through, not just the acts that were inflicted upon us, but how we dealt with them, our thoughts, our emotions, everything that we progressed through. And you look at Sylvanas, and you look at her life as a whole, and you look at everything she has been through, how she's handled it, the things she has done for others, there has got to be a great deal of value, a great deal of significance to that. That is going to amount to something. And I just can't help but wonder if her power isn't coming from that, isn't coming from, I guess you could say, an enlightenment. Maybe there's something to all of this that she's been preaching all this time to the Forsaken about letting go and moving on and moving forward. And it may not have anything to do really with the Shadowlands. Maybe she knows more about death itself beyond the Shadowlands, because the Shadowlands, that's not death. I don't know what the Shadowlands is, but it's not death. So, I think in a previous video I called it the Lifelands, but maybe she is becoming something even beyond the Eternal Ones, beyond the denizens of the Shadowland. But even so, if she evolves into some great powerful death being, well, we're still not likely to get her back as part of the Horde, or as part of Azeroth at all anymore. But if she's just going to trade that experience, that power, all that in for, I guess, the other part of her soul, if she's going to be revived somehow, but maintain at least a portion of her power, maybe still be the Dark Lady, she could potentially return to her Forsaken. Or potentially to the Horde. She could be our War Chief again. I think I've said in the past that, I'd like to see Vol'jin return to that status. But if Vol'jin's going to become Aloa, we're not going to have Aloa as a War Chief. It's just not going to happen, because again, you have somebody evolving into something beyond that. Bane is not going to be our war chief. I don't want Thrall to make it out of the Shadowlands. I want Thrall to just die. I want Thrall and Jaina to both just, they're done. Just, no more. Now, if Sylvanas does revive, more or less, and become mortal again somehow, that still leaves the question as to whether or not the other characters will accept her. You know, will they think, okay, well, her soul's been cleansed, she's no longer the Banshee Queen, she's fine, she's the Ranger General again. Will they understand if Anduin explains what all happened? Will they consider her redeemed for sacrificing herself for him? There are any number of things that could happen, and this could potentially give us our Dark Lady back, or even Sylvanas as the War Chief. But I know that the player base as a whole probably does not want that. I would like to think that Blizzard isn't going to write her story based on what the player base wants, but I'm sure they've been listening and taking it into consideration. So, we'll just have to wait and see. Just have to wait and see. But yeah. I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be revived. Whether you want me here or not. I still have opinions. I'm still going to share them. They are still going to be out of this world because apparently that's the way I think. And nobody else is there with me. I mean, yeah, sure, there's some great ideas floating around out there. But I have to say, a lot of those great ideas are great ideas that are shared by multiple people. And they're not my ideas. They're not... Where's my people? Where are the people that share these ideas? There's got to be other people out there who have made the Sylvanas might be a mother connection. Come on. I've been waiting for it. Really, that was the one thing. If anybody else out there had jumped on board that, had run with that, had said anything to that effect, if I had found anything to that, I would have been okay with just retiring and not doing this whole YouTube thing anymore, but no. So, to those of you who were there, who heard me say it before, what have you won with it? Come on. Anyway, I'm here. I'm back. And I'm going to keep throwing these ideas out there and hoping that they're shared and that they're heard. And, I mean, hey, if you want other people to hear these ideas, then yeah, drop me some likes, drop me some shares. Come on, help me out. But, like Sylvanas, I believe in freedom of choice. So the choice is yours. Like, share, subscribe, or don't. In the meantime, stay extra, my friends.